everybody, welcome back. This is Ryan Sierra, and this is part 2 of Fallstreak. Fallstreak is a visual novel that is quite long, and the beginning is very solemn and cute and adorable, and the second half is it's downright disturbing, and we're gonna have some fun. With a wave of his pointing stick, Mr. Nadal redirects our attention to the blank boundary surrounding the hexes.
One of Sagatrine's most distinguishing features is the dense wall of unnavigable mist that surrounds and separates it from the outside unknown lands.
Susie? Suki? Susie. Susie.
Where the Portuguese boy?
I don't know. Maybe it should be like far away. Like you can think of the boxes as population concentration indicators and the cylinders as major industrial centers. Okay. The big piece in the center represents the heart of Socotrine's infrastructure, the capital city of Socotra. Socotra! Socotra, you dumb frick!
Hattie, where do we live? Probably around here somewhere. As for the school, it's likely near here. Hattie, maps are really amazing. What do you mean? They show the world like you're high in the sky, even though nobody's been in the sky before. That's not true. I've been in the sky before, you know. Really? Wow.
You shouldn't believe everything Addie says, Noletta.
This is in the year 195, right? I was born in 194.
That is correct. The current board state reflects the state of Socotrine 15 years ago, when it was ruled by the old aristocracy. Socotrine was in the process of recovering from a period of famine and plague when the Masters' Revolution occurred.
The Masters Revolution...
Hold on, this is a person who's not like a character in the game, so we're gonna give them a nasty voice.
Yes, Socotrine had long ago been aware of the existence of the unknown lands from artifacts that washed up on Evagat's northern banks. However, 195 marked the first time that actual people came from beyond the mist. In 195, a convoy of people describing themselves as refugees from a devastated land sailed down the river Evagat and made contact with Socotrine for the first time. Though the old aristocracy welcomed the refugees at first, they eventually began to suspect that the convoy would attempt a coup. Mustering all of Socotrine's military might, the old aristocracy attempted preemptively to capture the refugees. However, they were soundly routed by the refugee convoy's elite combat unit, the Lost Children. In what became known as the Masters' Revolution, the old aristocracy was overthrown, and the leader of the Lost Children and refugee convoy, the Verloren Master...
Der verlorene Meister. That just means lost, by the way, too. The Lost Master.
Was installed as Socotrine's sovereign ruler. The Verloren Master was indeed female, though it would be more accurate to call her a woman than a girl.
Well, I hope so. Sounds like she was pretty good at bashing heads, but was the Forlorn Master a good ruler?
In regards to that, let us jump to the year 200.
Not 5 years later, dudes.
Mr. Nadal takes the opportunity to make adjustments to the board state before continuing.
The first 5 years that followed the Masters' Revolution are often considered a golden age in Socotroni history. Drawing from the advanced technology, expertise, and knowledge of RetroArch playtest the refugee convoy brought with them, Socotrine underwent a period of rapid innovation and reform. Mortality rates plummeted as contemporary medical science made its debut, and birth rates skyrocketed as socioeconomic living standards improved. However, that all came to a stop when the Fire of Collapse happened.
A solemn silence took over the room as Mr. Nadal set about making major modifications to the board. I had been born shortly after the Fire of Collapse, so I had no memories of the event, but there was no doubt that it had been a dark time in Socotrine's history.
In August of 200, for reasons that are not known, the in August of 200, for reasons that are not known, the shroud of mist that usually only surrounds Sockatrine's borders warped and covered the sky. Prismatic flames of unknown properties rained down from the mist, laying waste to major swaths of Sockatrine's landscape. The area below Evaget's southern banks suffered serious damage, in particular, transforming into unrecognizable wasteland.
Ooh, I remember if you got burned by that rainbow fire, you had to get special treatment or else.
The refugees of 195 had experienced a similar disaster in the unknown lands, so they were able to provide limited care, but there were too many victims to avoid a great loss of life.
Isn't that really creepy? Don't you? Does that make you wonder? Like they were refugees because that was the thing that pushed them over to this land, and now it like is coming over here. It just seems like Earth is just like dying, really.
The fire of collapse did not mark the end of 200, though. In 195, the Verloren Master had taken on a single Sockatroni pupil following her rise to power. Shortly after the Fire of Collapse, that pupil challenged the Verloren Master to single combat, defeating her and claiming the title of Sockatrine's sovereign ruler as his own. He continues to rule to this day. We know him now as Lord Cecil Cotard.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Holy shit, I forgot about that. I forgot about that.
Yep, that's my pops, alright.
Holy shit.
Unfortunately, there is not much insight I can offer on that matter. It is true, though, that Lord Cotard has largely carried on his master's legacy in terms of policy.
That just made things more confusing. The pieces simply weren't lining up.
Naturally, there were some that opposed Lord Cotard's succession. Unconvinced that the inexperienced young Cotard could lead Sockatrine in its current state, they attempted an uprising.
I love how that kind of train of thought sounds a bit weird though, right? Because it almost sounds like they're like, huh, well, I don't know if he could do it all on his own. Well, time to like make it worse and make it so that he definitely can't rule.
In that case, what about the Verloren Master? What was her name before she assumed her title? The Verloren Master is a big enigma even today. Her real name is likely something only members of the Lost Children know. I see. Perhaps I should ask Papa or Mr. Damalor sometime. That's all the questions I have for now. Surrendering the floor to the other students, I wander over to the classroom windows, lost in thought. Sockatrine's closed world dilemma.
By the way, there's something really intense, having played this game once that I remember, of the fact that Adelise's dad overthrew the Verloren Master. There's something really crazy about that. And we're gonna, hopefully if we get to that in this part, we're gonna see why.
There's only been one recorded instance of anyone successfully traversing the boundary of mist that encircles Sockatrine's borders. The Verloren Master. How did she lead the refugee convoy to Sockatrine? I couldn't help but feel it was a key piece to the puzzle, a puzzle that I've yearned to solve for as long as I can remember. Not enough. It's still not enough. When I come back to myself, I find the class in the midst of lunch break. Wandering over to our usual group's islands of desks, I met with a pleasant surprise. Erwina had pulled her desk over as well, bringing our count up to a total of 6. Erwina usually eats with her father at his insistence, but it seemed our capricious teacher was taking a nap, having gobbling up his lunch during the Q&A session. I take my seat amidst an already continuing conversation.
What the? Oh, Kalia's just speaking Welsh. No, she's eating.
I see. Are you and Trish planning to do anything special for your 12th birthday?
Okay, so they're 12. I thought they were 10. Okay, you know. You know.
Newfound respect wells up inside me at Erwina's ability to comprehend Kalia's incoherent gabbling. Kalia wasn't very fond of being fed by other people. As such, it was not uncommon for unintelligible garbling to leave her mouth as she went about stuffing her lunch with her face. Even after the Second Great Food War, may the casualties of that dark time rest in peace, we only ever gained the right to clean her face after a meal.
While not as animated as Kalia, watching Arwina eat was also an interesting experience. The manner in which she confirmed the position of her lunchbox, selected an article of food by its relative remaining proportion, and brought it levelly to her mouth was like clockwork.
I just said it. Maybe my fish never get started.
Jeez, Kalia, don't I always tell you not to talk with your mouth full? Silly. Eviget's garden, though, huh? That's a wonderful spot to go to for your birthday. Could it be somehow I'm the abnormal one for having no clue what Kalia is saying? As she alternates between chastisement and casual conversation, Lorona picks out a tasty-looking morsel from Tristan's lunchbox. Since the five of us always share our lunch together, we had a habit of taking from each other without restraint. It was something we did without even thinking about it, so it wasn't hard to understand why our guest Erwina froze in shock when her spoon suddenly encountered Tristan's fork scrounging around in her lunchbox. Huh? Ooh. A brutal kick from Kalia to some undefined location under the desk causes Trist to spray a mouthful of his lunch all over an uncomfortable Lorona. What is happening? Literally, this girl all the time is just, what is happening? Also, I'm assuming she's older. Well, also I play the game. I think she's older than the rest of them. She's kind of taller and looks a little more refined. Also, wait, what am I on about? I don't know. Lorona, it's interesting because she actually, I feel like, has the least... She has, like, no backstory. Hopefully in the game's potential sequel, we get a backstory for Lorona. Lorona virus. You'll have to forgive us, Erwina. Haha, yeah, so funny. I made that joke all last episode. Now I'm still trying to fucking pedal off it. We're all accustomed to sharing our food with each other. I guess Triss couldn't resist upon seeing how tasty your food looked. Ah, is that so? Rowena pauses for a second as she considers my words. In that case, allow me to sample what you've brought as well. A well-meaning rise to her lips. A well-meaning smile rises to her lips and her hips and her... Uh-oh. As she pushes her lunchbox forward, signaling it's fine to take from her. At her invitation, the five of us, who had always been curious about the palate of rich people, eagerly dig in. Wait. How are we not rich? Wait, how is Adelise not rich? We literally just found out, like, and the audience really did, definitely, unless you've seen this game before, that, like, she's the she's the daughter of the dude who is... The Laritz's repertoire of pranks was quite expansive, but their usual antics wouldn't cut it if they wanted to do something Arwina could appreciate. Scanning the room for ideas, my eyes catch on Noletta as she plays around with Susie, a younger classmate. The little one was teasing Noletta in a saccharine voice as she floated a balloon in and out of her reach. The scales have fallen from my eyes. We'll give him a helium voice. With a grand gesture, I direct everyone's attention to the enlightening scene before us.
So apparently Tristan and Kalia are doing things. Yeah, you didn't miss much.
In the highest form of approval, Triss spontaneously produces a white cat from somewhere and begins stroking it like an evil mastermind. I'm really feline it. Firing off a clawful pun, Kalia and Triss set off to procure the balloon. Oh, aren't you just so silly? Father with helium voice. I cannot say the prospect is without appeal. You shouldn't do bad things to people who are sleeping. But I guess you can when they're awake? Lorona, what are your morals, girl? With our moral compass compromised by internal conflict, there was nothing left to stand in the way of our schemes. Upon successfully persuading the owner, the Lirit twins returned with Noletta and Balloon in tow. Are they twins? I mean, it's not even the hair, right? Like I would have to see their hair pulled back, or maybe, because I know they both have yellow eyes, right? Alright, so who'll be the lucky soul carrying this out? Triss is good at being quiet. God! Shit!
Alright. Can we get that in slow motion?
The pup pulling away, I whisper as loud as I dare to Erwina. The two of us swiftly withdraw, taking our seats just as Mr. Nadao stirs and shakes his head in disorientation. Also, fucking rip F in the chat for Tristan, my man. Noticing the room full of diligently waiting students, he opens his mouth to apologize.
Oh dear, my apologies for keeping you all waiting.
His squeaky voice issues a series of sniggers. After After grumpily instructing us through the remainder of afternoon lessons, Mr. Nadao dismisses the class for the day. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's going to be some grumpy comments in that sick comment section, bro. Huh, leave all your emotions down in the comments for him. With Tris leaving the bulk of his materials at school, we had a considerably lighter load to bear as we forayed into town. I know I said I'd tag along, but I can't really stick around for anything too lengthy. Oh my god. Lorona should be the chills voice. Number 15. I know I said I'd tag along. Due to her talent and unique aesthetic, there was a generous demand for Lorona's handwoven products. Balancing school and work must have been surely taxing, but you'd never guess it looking at her ditzy smile. Yep, we're just stopping by the Morella Bakery for a bite. I reassure her as we make a final turn that places us squarely at our destination. Placing my hand on the door, I stop and exchange a glance with the Lerit twins. I wonder if they're thinking the same thing I am. With puckish grins on their faces, they nod back at me. Newfound determination lights inside me as I open the door to a familiar reception. Okay, so heads up, heads up, heads up. I'm making a heads up right now, so please listen. This character right here, I believe she has autism or something of the sort. Actually, wait. No. Okay. Um, she has she does have some kind of learning disability, and one of the things though is that her character is that she didn't really develop past like a certain age because of some trauma that happened to her and gave her like a learning disability. So she's gonna. I hope I don't butcher her voice and make it come off terrible in a disingenuous, ill-willed way, because that's not my goal.
Welcome to the Morel. The docile voice that greets us quickly transforms into squeaks of terror as three silhouettes dash forward with impeccable speed. Super spontaneous! Tickle attack!
Wow, that was loud.
With the coordination of a seasoned wolf pack, Triss and I brutally close in on our target's flanks as Kalia circles behind for the takedown. Ha! Tickle, tickle!
Oh yeah, Tristan's mute, by the way. Did I make that clear? Was that not clear before? Because he's never said a line in his life.
Glomp, nom. Stop! Alouette can't take anymore. After biting into the spoils of our successful hunt to our heart's content, we finally relent to let Alouette catch her breath. Can't believe we were all on the same page. The Lerit twins exchange a painful-looking forehead five to celebrate our clean kill. Ow! Not so hard, dummy! Not everyone is as blockheaded as you are. Triss dances out of the way as Kalia attempts to avenge their collective loss of brain cells with an angry knee. They join maneuver from three directions at once to pincer the target. Double envelopment, a classical tactic strategy topped off with a rear blindside to seal the deal. All executed perfectly with the minimum of communication. Whoa, we really were breathing in sync. Yay. Yay. Though she doesn't really seem to get why, an enthused Naletta joins in our cheering. Yeah, you guys are so scary. After regaining control of her breathing, Alouette finally recovers from her trouncing and manages to get back on her feet. You really surprised, Alouette? Alouette Batcha, a young woman with a stilted style of speaking who worked here at the Morella Bakery. Though she was twice my age with change to spare, the impression she gave off could best be likened to a small woodland animal. Why is Alouette so irresistibly huggable? And why does she smell like sun? Me. Noletta has such soft, poofy hair. Blah, that's no good, Noletta. You can't get head pats unless you make gibberish sounds too. Yeah. Why, you sound like a constipated cat. You have to put your heart into it, Noletta. However, Noletta steps back from Alouette in a show of unmistakable rejection. Eh? Though she seems confused and distressed, Alouette's attention is quickly diverted by the needy Lerit twins. What's the matter, Noletta? Sidling up to her, I whisper to her in a hushed voice.
What other voice would you whisper in other than a... I whispered to her in a loud, yelling, screaming voice.
Uh,
Wow. Oh my god.
Alouette smells. Is that what it is? I'm pretty sure she knows how to bathe on her own, unlike a certain someone at first. My banter doesn't seem to lighten the mood, though. She smells like mist. It's different, but also the same. Huh. Is that so? I don't know what you mean by that, but she's a good-hearted person. Always has a smile on her face. Smiling all the time. It's the same. The same as never smiling. But Addie's right. Alouette's not fake. But Addie's right. Alouette's not fake.
Fake. What meaning did that word hold to Noletta? Also, by the way, let me just connect the dots for you here. Earlier in this part, we were talking about how there was a mist in the kingdom of Sockatrine. Now, Noletta is saying that Alouette smells like mist. Oh my god. Bro, okay, so here's the deal. Like I said, I played this game once, but it's such a long game that you gotta play it again because the thread that connects everything has a lot of fluff throughout it. So playing it again and seeing how everything then like connects and makes sense to the ending is like, what? Anyway,
There are many questions I want to ask, but I decide to stop pressing Noletta for now. Sorry, we're not trying to force you to do anything you're uncomfortable with. I'll make it up to you later with those special Addie brand behind the ear rubs you like, okay? Meanwhile, judging by their salivating maws, it seemed the Laritz twins' minds had already moved onto something else. That smell's got me hankering to sink my teeth into something already. Ha! You're like a teething puppy, Kalia. The aroma of baked sweets was certainly enticing enough to justify the obscene growls coming from Tristan's stomach, though judging by his dreamy expression, he had already skipped ahead of us and ascended to confectionery heaven.
oh god, who do we...
Looks like my valuable taste testers are finally here.
We don't run into her again, do we? Wait, who's the one that is in the library with us later? That's another person, right?
With a thunderous entrance, the person we've been waiting for emerges from deeper within the building. The owner and principal baker of this establishment, Mr. Morella. He was a heartily built man whose laughter made buildings tremble in their foundation. It was something of a routine for us to taste test samples whenever he came up with a new recipe, hence why we were here today.
Been tinkering with the nitty-gritties of this batch for a while now. Come, you'll be the first to try it out.
The big man smiles jovially as he brings out a tray of cake and begins portioning it with a knife that seemed comically small in his massive paws.
Excuse me?
What? Is everybody in this town a furry to you or something?
While free treats wasn't anything to sneeze at, the most rewarding part for me was how Mr. Morella used our feedback to push the limits of his work. It's fun being part of the process of iteration and refinement behind creating a new dish.
Strawberry and lychee cake is the name of the game this time around.
Tris, you dirty rat! Don't go nibbling the corners off my piece while handing it to me! Kalia berates Tris noisily as she smears crumbs all over her nose and cheeks. But Tris just shrugs haughtily in response, as if only rightfully taxing someone for his services. Nobody asked you for your help in the first place! With a ferocious lunge, Kalia knees her supposed benefactor in the gut, causing him to spew his mouthful all over Larona's nearby figure. By the way, is there a way to get the dialogue box out of the way? Some visual novels have that, where it's either right-click or it's something. I don't know. But, there's something about Kalia that, there's a reason why she keeps only ever kneeing, Tristan when she's playfully upset with him. And I don't know if it comes up later in the game or if it was something we were kind of supposed to infer already. But
I'll leave you with that question.
Well, why me again?
Am I right, Lorona? I mean, why me again, dude? Alright, well, later, Lorona virus. Love you. Hey everybody, this is Ryan Sierre, your favorite chocolatey eclair. Thanks so much for checking out my amateur voice acting. Leave a like if you liked it. Leave a comment if you want to give feedback. Thanks so much.